Welcome back, everybody, to yet another Drive Sales Show. I know you guys us. I'm here with my main Ryan Marsh, Nagely Group, United owner. So I'm thrilled to have you here.
Hey, Mal, I'm thrilled I'm be a part of this with you here. I'm excited to have some fun and bounce some ideas and see where this journey takes us.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. He's to everybody here. He's one of the people I have failed to sell where I tried 4 years ago. I just wasn't good enough, and I know the company is very tech forward. You guys do a lot with technology, and you're utilizing a bunch of different great tools. So walk me through what's your thinking process, where you're going to take the company, and I'm very curious.
Well, I think the biggest thing is obviously we're in an industry where I feel like it's still being ran by dinosaurs, right? Everybody's on paper. I mean, you fill out more paperwork and sign more documentation for a $5,000 move than you would if you bought a $500,000 home. And that's always kind of struck me a little bit sideways is like, there's 54 different pages that need to be signed. Why can't we just be electronic here? Let's be more efficient. Let's minimize mistakes and let's try to let's try to keep up with the Amazons. I mean, not necessarily be an Amazon, but let's face it, Amazon is having that effect on everybody across the board. Everybody's used to e-signature, doing things online. I mean, this whole going out to the home, bringing a stack of paperwork yay thick to move you down the street it's obsolete to me at this point as well. The biggest challenge is more or less introducing this technology to people that have been in this industry for 20, 30, 40, 50 years even. I think that's the hardest piece because, again, not saying what was done prior to it was wrong. There's just better ways to do things now. We're moving a different client. Things have changed. And in this industry, we've got to get up and adapt to that change and start mimicking what some of these other, Amazon type people are doing. The hardest part, though, is implementing that change and getting that buy-in people on the team to basically say, hey, this technology, yeah, it's going to replace a ton of things that you're doing. That's wonderful. We're not replacing you with technology, but this is going to give you the focus to go ahead and start driving down this alley or driving down this lane or what have you. So that's the biggest part is getting everybody on board. That's probably why I was a little slow. Sales pitch was awesome when we chatted a few years ago. I mean, but it was more or less just kind of how are we going to onboard this with our team? I think that was the biggest tactic, biggest piece that we had to kind of work through, and we found a way, and we got the whole team buy-in, and here we are today. I mean, we're about 90% paperless across the board. So
That is phenomenal. Look, Ryan, that is absolutely thrilling because I'm so happy to speak with people like you who are so tech forward in making sure that the industry keeps up with, as you said, with the Amazons of this world, to make sure that we deliver. At the end, the customers now, they don't expect it, they demand it. Like it's a common thing. For example, I mentioned this, I was talking to a buddy of mine a couple of days ago. Why can I know where my pizza is coming to my place, but I don't know where my 50,000 or 30,000 or $5,000 shipment is going? I think it's ridiculous.
you're right. I mean, we order takeout quite frequently. It's like, you're looking at the app, but it's like, oh shoot, my large pizza is going to be here in 3 minutes. I ordered it, I paid for it, boom, it's here. But yet I just spent 50 on a move to jump 2 states over. I've had no contact from the office. I'm waiting on paperwork to get faxed or emailed, and I have to print and sign and read. No, it's time. This industry needs to change, and I really do feel that it is. I mean, there's a lot of industry leaders in our industry that are adapting this change and are starting to get it, quite frankly. But I also think
And I agree.
you got a different breed of salespeople in management in leadership roles that are finally going, hey, it's a younger generation that's kind of taking over from their fathers and grandfathers, and these are tech savvy people, and it's starting to catch on. But I mean, we've got a ways to go. I think we're in the 2000s right now. We're not quite at 2022. But we're out of the 80s, right? So no number 2 pencil with a big eraser on the back end. So we're making great gains, and I'm excited to be a part of this trip and see where it takes everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, when I started selling video surveys, I felt we were in the 30s. Like I genuinely felt we were in the 30s because no one knew what the hell I was talking about, first and foremost, because it was a completely brand new concept. But as we have changed and the industry has moved away from, is moving away, not has moved, is moving away from how it used to be done. I am thrilled because there's so many. First of all, there's so many plays for moving technology now. There is different players in the video survey space. There's in the technology space. There's warehousing. There's all sorts of things that are coming up, and I'm excited because it needs it. And I genuinely believe that there is room for everybody to be effective and have a piece of, so to say, of the market. That's at least what I think. I might be hopeless romantic when it comes.
No, I mean you're spot on. I mean that's, I guess the biggest thing is, for there is more business out there than the in every, not just United or Mayflower, Beacons or there's enough business out there that you tag every moving company in the continental US. There's still service failures. There's still cancellations 24 hours prior to the day because there's not enough people. There's not enough equipment. I mean, it's one of the things. So that's where, I mean, as an agency, as a salesperson, as an operational person, you've got to get smarter in your pricing. You got to get smarter in your processes. You got to book better business because, I mean, my gosh, we're turning away more business than we're booking at this point. And at first I'm going, ooh, but we're turning away bad business. We're turning away business that just doesn't pay. Margins are getting tighter and tighter. Costs are going through the roof. I mean, shoot, we all know this, right? I mean, gas is, I'm not sure what fuel is at your place, but it's almost
ridiculous
$7 right now. $7 a gallon. It's insane. So why take a move that's going to stretch 3, 4, 5 days? You got guys out of town, fuel, meals, hotels, what have you, to end up with a cool $300, $400 in your pocket at the end of the day for a 3-person crew? No. So again, I love this, drive sale. My challenge, I guess, to you and I guess the industry would be, let's stop driving the sales. Let's start driving the price. Let's start driving the process. Let's start driving efficiencies. There is more business than anybody could actually handle, and that's why there's been more delay claims, more service failures than ever before. Now, throw in COVID, right? That obviously put a wrench in, but that did force a lot of people to have to utilize technology. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think the focus at this point would be, I mean, you got to have your sales team and your operational team working hand in hand, daily, weekly, hourly, or what have you, because your traditional sales guy in this industry is just, he's prone to book. Let's book. Let the operations team figure it out. We can't continue to do that. It's ruining this industry the way the way we're rolling right now. So.
Look, Ryan, you've said so many things. I have to unpack a couple of different segments of it, and I agree with. Like, let me unpack a couple of things, and we'll get to everything. So, I think you made so many great points there. First and foremost is, let's see how we deal with the more business than you can actually service due to labor shortages, and then the pricing. That's a different topic. We'll get into it in a second. But talk to me about how you, as a leader. And owner, how do you figure out what is good business and what is bad business? Essentially, when now you have to deal with a lot of things to differentiate between this. So I'm very curious to hear.
It's honestly, Milo, it's a lot easier than you would think. You just got to know your numbers. You have to know what your costs are on everything. You know your cost. You know what you're going to go ahead and sell that particular service for. You've got your margin. I think the biggest thing in this, and not the biggest thing, but I know from personal experience that most of these guys don't know their numbers. They have no clue. So, I mean, I can tell you right down to one guy in a truck, 2 guys in a truck, a 15-person commercial crew, basically what our costs are going to be on that particular job based on the scope of work, and then I can price it accordingly. I mean, I can look at a United Van Line shipment and just sit there and go, no way. We're going to make 20% during 20% margins during peak season. It's not going to work for us. And also, obviously, knowing your numbers and then having a capacity-based pricing across all lines of your business has been huge. So our thing is we kind of look at it as like a hotel, right? So, you want to book a hotel room on a Monday or Tuesday, you're going to get a great rate for $150. But as you roll into that holiday weekend, what's that room right now? $500? Okay, people are prone to capacity-based pricing, right? So why are we not doing the same? So there's the thing, if Milo wants to move on a Monday and you're booking your move 60, 90 days out, you're going to get green pricing with us because you're that first particular job on that day. And then as we hit up to 25% capacity, it goes into our yellow type pricing. So now same move, different customer, they're paying more, whether it's 1x, 2x, whatever it may be. And then once we get to our, 65% capacity range, we turn into red pricing. So yeah, we can still move you on the last day in June, but instead of that $187 an hour for 3 guys in a truck, it's now $410 an hour for 3 guys in a truck. So really, it's one of things where pricing things out according to your own capacity at your own agency has been huge for us. Knowing your numbers, proper pricing, it's all right there. I know it's kind of a lot to unpack.
No, it's great. I love this because there's a lot of topics for us to discuss. So I'll tell you this. I've been booking moving business for different companies in the past. And this is something that I have seen commonly. What you said is not a lot of companies actually do. So let's say I book a job that's 60 or 90 days away, but it will start in peak season, but I've booked it, let's say January. I booked January, let's say for whatever, May, or like 5 months ahead. And I know that the season is starting, and I booked it, let's say $5,000, whatever that move is, $5,000. What the moving company will generally do, they will lowball you on the pricing in January because they don't account for knowing your numbers, how it will be in May. And then at the end of the day, when you book like a week out of your move, they say, hey, look, we did book it for $5,000, but it's actually $7,000 because of peak season pricing. I'm sorry, but like the pricing went up. And I have seen this across the board, and it happens all the time. And I had a issue with it because if I book 90 days or whatever, how many days in advance, I should get better pricing, and my pricing shouldn't change unless I add items, obviously, unless I've changed the capacity and how the move is based from a prior agreement. And that's a huge pet peeve of mine. And I've battled it, and I think I haven't succeeded in making that change with a lot of companies previously. But as you said, I think it's crucial. And if you guys do that effectively, look, I'll do this. Like, I want to give you a clap because I haven't seen many people have effectively done it, honestly. And that's a huge props to you, man. Like, I'm not joking.
I mean, you have to, right? I mean, we're a small agency. We don't have, 400 trucks running crisscross in the globe. We've got very limited resources here. So we need to maximize our potential for that crew, that truck, and obviously maximize the experience for the customer as well. Let's not forget that, right? So yeah, it's one thing to know your numbers. It's one thing to price accordingly, but hey, we still have that customer piece that we've got to kind of loop that in there. So I feel like sometimes we lose that focus on that customer because we're just, booking moves this, and you've got a sales guy that's just looking to book to make that commission. And that's a whole nother piece I think we can jump into is how COD sales reps are paid. Some sales reps are making more on a particular move than the company itself. How is that?
Let's do that. Look, let's get into the COD sales reps. So currently, let's say you own COD sales reps or some other moving companies. How do you think, what's the current, I would love for you to tell me what's the current state in how they're getting comped and what you would love for them to be comped, and I'll give you my perspective on it in a second.
Yeah, honestly, what I would love to see, and I think it would really help this industry out a ton, is eliminate the commission-based salesperson, right? Because at the end of the day, who are they selling for? They're selling for themselves. They're selling for that money in their pocket, which I get. I was once a commission COD salesperson as well, and it was like, hey, I'm booking everything I can get my hands on because hey, it's going to pad my pockets, it's going to help my family out and what have you. But this booking work that was detrimental to the company because the margins were so low. But hey, I'm still getting paid, right? Woohoo! It's a win-win. No, that's not right at all. Why are the COD salespeople winning so much? Drivers are getting hammered over the head. Labor costs is going through the roof. So I'm booking on business. What's that doing for the company? It's not helping. It's creating a disaster. So what I would like to see, and again, it's how we're operating currently, is commission's gone, right? We as COD salespeople get paid based on the different lines of business that get booked and how well the company does. If the company's not doing well, why is the salesperson doing well? When we win together. When we lose together, right? It's just, to me, it's pretty basic. But again, you're talking about switching and changing the way it's been done for 50 years, right? And changing this industry is very, very difficult. But when you have people just booking business to book business, to put money in their pockets, you're overloading basically the entire system, pumping moves in that, who's going to cover them, who's going to service them. The COD sales rep, to me, again, my personal feeling is that they're done after that. Once they book the move, they're out. Not so the case in here. We booked a move, we're sticking with it, and that's kind of how it is.
This is how like I love the removing the commission base. Let me throw something back at you and let me see what you think. The commission that I would be looking to pay COD sales reps is actually based on profit margin for the company. So, for example, let's say that it can go a couple of different ways. The profit margin, let's say that you have 30 or 40% margin in the peak season, whichever margins are, it doesn't really matter. Then off of that margin, of the actual margin when the move gets loaded, the big difference, because people will add stuff, remove stuff, the price could change. But of the actual margin, there's a set percentage that you can be paid depending on the type of move that you sell. Local, intrastate, interstate, or international, depending on the company, obviously. And then there's a profit-based like pool sharing with the COD sales reps. Because then if they sell a bad move and the company struggles, and if you lose money on it, the sales rep is not getting anything. So that's a different perspective to take a look at, because that also plays into, if the company does well, you do well. If we make no money, you make no money as well. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
No, I agree. I mean, it sounds like a heck of a model, but again, I can only speak on behalf of us and what has worked well for us and what have you. But we try to keep things as simple as possible. I mean, I think that's this industry has been, I feel like, just there's this one off, that one off. It's insane. So the more we can see, at the end of the day, it is pretty simple, right? We're showing up to a home, we're putting stuff into a box, we're labeling box, and we put box on truck. Why are we complicating this more than it is? So same thing when it comes to commission base or this or that. It's 1% into this, or 10% of booker adjustment, 50% of booker adjustment, and that scale is across the board. Every agency is differently. So it's like, how do you? Like I said, we try to streamline it, keep it simple. The company does well, we're all high five and win at the end of the day. The company doesn't do so well in a particular line. Hey, I don't do so well either. Yeah. But no, I love the model that you have. I mean, there's a million different ways to work it, but my biggest thing is let's keep it simple. Let's keep it as simple as possible. And then again, for us, we don't have that software to determine, hey, 2% of a local move, if you hit a certain margin, is going to you, and 5% here and 10%. No, the amount of time that
complicated.
That is
that's too time consuming. Let me then backtrack to, as we're talking simplicity. Let me then backtrack and make another suggestion. Let's say that you as a company pay out sales reps quarterly, for example, or actually the entire operations and sales. Let's say of our margins, there is a shared pool that everybody in at the end of the quarter, meaning Q2 in like peak season, Q2, we set aside 2, 3, 5% that will split amongst top sales reps, whatever, as a shared bonus, and you can split it equally to everybody, and that way everybody's rooting for it to make sure that everybody succeeds, and then they will hold each other accountable, because I don't want you to mess with my 5%, because I want to make sure that everything goes smoothly as possible. Just another take on the commission piece to make it simple.
No, that's, what, and that's, for the most part, that's what we do. So I guess we're speaking the same thing, just a little different language, but it's, instead of doing it quarterly, we just do it at the end of the year as an overall end of the year bonus.
Oh,
like, hey, if, say for example, if international, our goal is $1 million for international, I just fictional numbers, and we hit $1.2 million in that lane. Well, you know what? That 200K, not all 200K, but a percentage of that would get split throughout the leadership team, sales reps, what have you, whoever's responsible for that piece. Military, local. So every line of business has a goal, right? So if we hit that goal, we know we're getting bonus. We go above that goal, then it's that additional percentage piece that we're all going to get. So basically, we win as a team or we lose as a team. We're not going to have COD salespeople winning. We have operational guys and dispatch and other leadership pieces that are just taking it right off the chin. we don't do that. So yeah, what we do is simple and basic, kind of along the same lines as what you're saying, just instead of quarterly, it's at the end of the year. So everybody knows
Yeah.
the target, and everybody knows where everybody needs to be. And that goes right down to claim. We have a claims number. If we don't hit that thing, hey, money comes back. If we don't have any operational failures, same thing. There's bonuses paid through all that. So we win as a team, we lose as a team, Milo. That's how it should be.
Look,
It's only
Ryan, that is, yeah. It's a breath of fresh air, and then I'm smiling because I'm loving this conversation because there's so many things, and also one thing that actually plays into paying it yearly is actually retention of your people at the company. Because I come to your company and it's a summer gig. I'm not here for 12 months. I'm not I'm not the person that is staying for a long time. And that way you create this bond within people and a steady team that will actually help you the year in, year out. And then they start gelling and it's like a one well-oiled machine. I absolutely love that. It makes a world of sense,
It's
honestly.
it's that whole whiffle effect, right, Milo? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? For me to show up to work every day and give it my all, what do I get in return? It's a win with potential bonus throughout the year. So I love it.
I like it. And I like it. At the end of the day, it's all about interest. I keep saying this to my sales reps, and they don't necessarily agree with me. When I say interest, I don't necessarily mean it's all monetary. For example, what's in it for me can be like, why are you and me hanging out right now? Because it's fun. We're looking to enjoy this conversation and talk about the stuff that we're passionate about. That's a shared and common interest. It doesn't have to all have interest, doesn't have to be specifically monetary for it to be shared and used. For example, why am I together with my wife? That's not a rhetorical question. So I'm actually
I
because I
that
enjoyed it.
question
Yeah.
every day, right?
Like I didn't know if I said that out loud. It's probably not the best question to use in a podcast.
Hopefully it doesn't,
But anyway,
right? I'll have to. We're gonna have to delete
I
this
hope
section.
I'm gonna edit this piece out and like we had an internet break, so we can't show this. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on because this is not the best idea.
Yeah, but
But
to tie into that piece, so and it's another thing that we do, and again, we're a smaller agency, so again, it may be a little easier for us to do so, but to get that buy-in from the team and from the drivers, the laborers, the warehouse guys. I mean, when's the last time if you went to any agency and said, "Hey, ask one of your laborers or drivers or office staff, what's the utility bill here? What's the utility bill? What are we paying for electric and gas? What are we paying for internet? What are we paying wages and fuel this month, this week, last quarter?" There's a lot of our guys that can answer that question. You're probably thinking, why? Why do they need to know the electric bill? Why do they need to know this? Well, let's face it, these guys see a $15,000, $20,000 move. Where do they think that money's going? They think it's going right back to the company. They don't realize United's taking this, fuel is this, wages are this, workers' comp, this, insurance, you name it. Another thing too is it makes them, I don't know the word to use, but I feel like it makes them, the more you share, the more they care. So you know what? We're not going to leave warehouse lights on over the weekend because like, oh gosh, we just had a $5,000 electric bill. The more we can save, the more we can, the more we all get it, right? So I think those are the little things that I think make a huge difference overall with getting, sharing that information. You're getting your people to care a little bit more about it as well. So just
I
that
don't think I've
bottom.
I don't think I've had this conversation with absolutely anybody in the moving industry, Ryan.
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
think I have. Yeah,
probably don't even know what their own electric bill is. It just gets paid.
yeah, and,
But
and the thing is, yeah, I'm very transparent with my team. Like I tell them, like honestly, we just bought. Well, we haven't bought, like we rented obviously a piece of software for calling, and I told my team exactly how much that will cost us on a monthly basis. I tell them how Amazon Web Services are costing the usage of our software, so they exactly know what we need to get to what we need to break even, to turn a profit, how their bonus comes in. Because sales reps, what do they want? They want money, obviously, and I want money. Everybody wants money, and it's completely okay to say that. But to get to that payout, these things, these small things have to happen, and you need to know why and how, so that way that everybody is in sync. I'm also very transparent with paychecks. I'll tell you, in the culture that I'm from, like I've been born and raised in Belgrade, Serbia. I went to college in the States. I lived in the States for a decent amount of my life. And there's always this secrecy about paychecks. And then, for example, you have a person that you hired 3 years ago, let's say whatever, random number, and that person makes 100 grand. Then there's a new person that you're hiring today, and you're paying the same amount of, you're paying the same job, you're paying 150 grand. Same job. Nothing has changed. The other person still makes 100 grand. This new person makes 150 grand. How the hell do you think the person one will feel after 3 years?
Well, I almost challenge that piece, because my kind of question back is, why is that person still making the same wage after 3 years? Are they doing the same thing they did 3 years ago? Have they stepped up their game? Have they tried to, I guess, again, I need to know the details there, but I kind of get where you're going with that is, but hey, I would almost question myself as, man, I've been making the same amount of money for 3 years. What am I not doing to take me to that next level? Why is this guy coming in off of nowhere? He getting a higher range than me? Is he bringing more value add to the company than I currently am? I mean, I don't know, but that's a whole nother walk right there.
Oh yeah, there's so many nuances to that conversation. I was just trying to make it very simplistic, like just very simplistically saying, but for example, let's say someone is happy doing the same thing they've been doing for 3 years. It's completely fine. They don't necessarily want to take the next step. They want to keep doing what they're doing. Let's imagine it's a move manager position. It's like a COD sales rep. They just are happy doing what they're doing. And if the same person comes in doing the same job, I mean, obviously, then you have to, what I heard from some companies is that they're actually, if the salary of the person that's on the team is lower than the person they're bringing on, they actually bump this person up to the new hire. So there's no conflict. So they can't hate each other. There's no annoyance between and friction between people in the company. And I think that's great. If it's the same type of job, obviously.
No, I'm with you on that one.
So a couple of more things. I want to get into a couple of more things that you said earlier that I want to unpack. Talk to me about what you guys do that sets you apart operationally, and why are you paying attention to so many details? As some would say, simple moving company, you move boxes in and out. Talk to me how you got to that level of detail and why that matters to your customers.
Well, I think the thing is, it was just a matter of time. I mean, at some point in time, you've got to stop with where this industry is heading. Again, and I keep repeating myself, shortage of trucks, equipments, influx of moves. You have to get to that point where sales and operations have to talk together, right? Operations is the wheel of the entire company. If there's operational breakdowns, you're going to have disasters with customers. Sales and ops need to work hand in hand. Sales need to know how ops operates. Operations need to know how sales operates. And it's kind of a joint piece. They've got to find a way to plug in the right business on the right day, but also utilizing the technology, able to see 1 week, 2 weeks, even 6. I can see booked a year out at this point. Everybody has total visibility of everything that we're doing here. So I think that's kind of one of the big pieces there is, between the ops and sales, really fine tuning their relationship and their communication, and utilizing the technology that's at everybody's hands to more or less bring this visibility to everybody throughout the company. More visibility creates less mistakes.
And it's so funny when we talk about visibility, as the moving industry as a whole hasn't been known for visibility in the past. It's not the most. Yeah,
and that's why we are where we are. I mean, we've got 50,000 shipments that are booked. We can only handle 30,000 shipments. So what do you think happens to those other 20? It's just, we did not know that they were there. Things were getting booked. Sales doesn't talk to ops. Next thing you know, ops is like, well, geez, I've got 5 trucks, but I need 8 for this day. Well, how are we going to do this? Operational failure, sales failure, ultimate lack of communication. That's it. I think if you can create visibility, utilize the technology at hand, and communicate as a team, have your morning huddles. We do every morning at 9:30. We basically, the leadership team gets together. So we've got sales, ops, ownership, office manager, and we just sit down in a room for anywhere from 10 minutes to we've had them go 30 minutes and just say, hey, what are you working on? What's going on? What's it for the rest of the next 2 weeks? Hey, we had a cancellation, so we can slide this move in, or we had or this. And hey, what do we see on the horizon for a day that might be, a little touch and go for us? Basically, what day are we at capacity? So we can kind of have all hands on deck that day. I mean, those simple things have made us and changed us tremendously. The communication, everybody knows in our agency about every job at every time and all the details of that particular job. There's no hiding anything. It's everything from pricing to everything is completely visible to everybody throughout our agency. And that's been one of our biggest success points, I will say.
I kept saying this because I haven't been this happy in a conversation with someone from moving about how they're doing things in a long time, because I think it's phenomenal, and I'm super happy to hear about the success that you guys are having, the way that you're handling stuff. Like I'm actually I'm rereading a book called Atomic Habits by Jason Clark, if I got that right, and it's phenomenal. It's basically do the small things and how that has a compounding effect on your life, happiness, and all that stuff. And you create habits, and basically habits allow you to change behavior and your belief system. Like your actual belief system is what needs to change to drive the habits and all that good stuff. But anyway, I recommend reading that book up. It's pretty fun to read. So anyway,
what's the name of that book? I'm gonna jot that down, and I'm due for a new book. So we'll see what happens
Atomic
here.
Habits. Atomic Habits.
You didn't write that one, did you?
I did not. I did not. I wish it, because I think it's sold in I don't know how many tens of millions of copies worldwide. It's phenomenal. There's a couple of other books, but they're not necessarily tied to this topic. But if you're ever in for a book recommendation, let me know. I'll ask some people that read books, and I can just recommend them.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate the recommendation there.
Yeah. So look, Ryan, I really appreciate your time today. This has been super fun. I actually am, because we've talked about so many different things. I think we're due for doing another one, and we can set specific topics after peak season when all the craziness goes away. I'm hoping, and I would love to connect and chat again, because I had so much fun listening to what you guys are doing, and I'm excited. And then once we push this out to the world, I'm excited to even show out Nagely Group and how you guys are dealing, because I think you're paving the way for other companies to follow, man.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's not just us. There is a ton of awesome companies out there doing basically what we are doing today. But I do think that's you kind of rang a little setup in my head here when I keep hearing peak season, peak season, peak season. Why isn't peak season 12 months out of the year? So that's another thing kind of blew my mind. I know we're short for time here, but maybe this we can lead off into the next potential meetup is I don't need to wait till after peak season to meet up. I've got time, utilizing that technology, the communication with the crews. We are no longer running rampant, for 6 months out of the year, figuring out how we're going to do things. And that's the one thing that drove me crazy about the industry. It's like, I feel like we planned 6 months for this crazy season and we still have disasters. So we could have a peak week in January. We could have a peak month in January. There is no, peak and non-peak season with us because we're all capacity-based pricing. If we're busy, higher pricing, that's peak season for us. And we're planning to prepare for that monthly, weekly, daily. So yeah, maybe I'm excited, man. We don't need to wait till after peak season to jump on again. I'm bouncing some ideas around, and this is fun. I mean, I think more of this needs to happen in the industry with, us young guys just kind of getting together, or girls, and just, kind of chatting it out. Just, what do you do? This is what we do. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to make all of us better. And, as a moving industry, we all kind of have to work as one here. I mean, we're all one team, right? We all have laborers, we all have drivers, we have trucks, we have people, we all got to work together and fine tune this thing, or it's gonna turn into a disaster.
And I absolutely don't have to wait till peak season. We can bounce ideas and we can start talking. And honestly, I might be able to bring a couple more people and have a bigger conversation. That's a different topic. But I'm
Oh yeah.
absolutely thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled because that is not the mindset of a lot of people that I'm genuinely speaking. And they're also some people are scrambling, and I've been scrambling. So don't get me wrong. I absolutely dread the fact that I have to wake up on a Saturday or Sunday and deal with escalations and operational problems because we oversold or undersold or we're over capacity, whatever that may be. And I
Yep.
absolutely dread that. And that's why I'm talking like this because I've been through it. I've booked through it. I've been the annoying COD sales rep that we've discussed here. I've been that guy, and I've been hated by the ops team. They still might have lingering sentiments over me from that period. But look, like that's how you learn from trial and error, and then you figure out what's good and what's not for the business. And as we grow, that's
the biggest twist for me is we did this quite a few years ago. And again, I don't know if you missed I'm not the. I think you called me out a couple times as the owner of the company. I'm not the owner by any means. I'm a sales rep, right? So you're getting this from a sales rep, not a ownership piece. But my biggest thing was I worked in ops twice a week. So Fridays, which are typically your most hellacious days, right? Over a weekend, things change. On Fridays, what have you. So as a sales guy, shoving all sorts of moves down to my ops team to spend 2 days a week inside ops to deal with what I just sent them and kind of learn their story and how they deal with it, but yet also have operations spend a day or two with me a week to see what I'm dealing with. It was night and day. So when your salespeople can understand your operations run, your operations can understand kind of the sales and customer piece to it, that's a well-oiled machine, man. That's a well-oiled machine.
And the thing is, I have to piggyback off what you said. In terms of ownership, the way that you guys do business, I believe that every single person has a bit of ownership in the company, the way that it's being conducted.
Everybody their own business. Absolutely. Everyone owns their own business inside the overall business. You're right. Everybody's responsible for their piece, and we own that. We all own it.
And that's phenomenal. Look, I'm super excited to jump on again. And thank you very much for your time. I know Memorial Weekend is coming up, so we will be airing this a little bit later, so people will see this. We'll be shooting a couple episodes out. So yeah, I'm super excited to get this out the door, man. Thank you very much for joining me.
Hey, Milo, thanks for reaching out. I look forward to popping on as many or as little as you want me on here. Next time, make sure I got a clean haircut and a better shirt here and a better backdrop. Well, I just to expect this time. I said, hey, we're gonna let it fly and have fun, right? We'll talk about some of the challenges and the beautiful things in this industry, if you want to put it that way.
Look, you can have a better shirt. I'll bring pants on next time, so it's completely fine.
Hey, that's why I'm not standing up right now. From the day before, so yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Milo, have a great day and have an awesome holiday weekend.